All right, so let's talk about Time Paradox Ghostwriter Chapter 9. It was really good. It was really good, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So at the beginning of the chapter, it starts off with the editor and Tepe showing him, basically the rough drafts of the next couple of chapters. And the editor is like, yo, I normally feel pretty bad because, your rough drafts are like, your storyboards are just so good. Like, it's rare to see a new creator have like storyboards that are this good. And I kind of feel like I'm a failing editor because I never have anything to say. I don't have anything to critique. And so he reads up to the final chapter that E.T. did. And he's like, yo, this is just getting better and better and better. Like, these are so amazing. And then Tepe's like, all right, cool. But here's chapter 46, which I think is like the first chapter that Tepe, where he takes over. And it's his own original content. And then the editor reads it and he's like, well, this is good, but it feels like there's something missing. It doesn't have that usual punch that the chapters normally have. But don't worry about it. You still got plenty of time. Everybody goes through some rough patches now and then, and Tepe's like, God damn it, I knew it wasn't good enough. Like, there's no way it could have been. Like, so he goes back to the grind, and you can see he looks really cool actually. You see like the dark bags under his eye, and it's funny because like the editor talks, he's like, you okay? And it just shows a panel of Tepe looking like super serious and sleep deprived. He actually kind of looks like that one character from Food Wars, the one that's kind of like Soma, but he has like the black hair, and he's like, his expert is in seafood. I'll show a picture. They kind of look alike in that panel. But anyway, so yeah, then it goes back to Tepe drawing his manga with his assistants, and he's just thinking about how he's gonna write this. And then it also shows him like checking the lottery to see if it was right, and it turns out it was correct. Like, those were actually lottery numbers. And then he's like, damn, I guess if that was right, then the rest of the message had to be correct as well. So now he knows, like, it's for real. Like, he actually has to draw to save Itsuki's life, which is super cool. And I knew he wasn't going to take the lottery, so that wasn't really surprising to me. I wish he took it, but it's unfortunate that he didn't. And who knows, maybe the reason that the person that sent back that message included the lottery numbers wasn't because they wanted him to take the money. Maybe they knew he wouldn't take the money. Maybe it was just to prove to Tepe, like, yo, this message is real. Just to prove it to you, like, here are some future lottery numbers, you know what I mean? So I can maybe see that. And then moving on, there was also a little brief moment where Aino asked him something about his drawing, and then the assistants were like, yo, you're a pretty good artist. Who are you taught by? And then he tells him it's like by this like famous author that's been drawing like this vitamin manga that's been in the Shonen Jump for like the past decade, which is really funny. And then Tepe describes like the author that he worked under, and he's like, yo, yeah, he's the kind of guy that would judo throw a hooligan if he saw him on the streets. And I'm like, everybody's like, yo, what kind of damn author is that you were working under? Like, that's totally two different tones, right? Drawing like a comedy manga and then doing that shit in your daily life. So that was kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. And then there was also like the assistants go to leave, and then Aino accidentally dropped her sketchbook that Tepe gave her, and Tepe picks it up and it says Anima. So she's finally starting to draw like rough drafts of Anima, as was predicted by the future entity that sent it back, that said Aino is going to start Anima, her new series, soon. But I guess it wasn't her Tezuka Award winner. I guess it's just a new idea. But it's still really cool to see. And Tepe was like super shocked when he picked it up, and he was kind of like speechless for a second. And then it cuts back to Tepe after they all leave in like the middle of the night, desperately trying to figure out how to draw. And you can see his like inner doubts plaguing him as they like manifest behind him, as like a little devil on his shoulder, basically saying like, you can't do this, like, just stop. There's no way you can draw a story. There's no way you can draw this, and there's no way you can come up with a better story than what Aino would have made. And you just see his inner doubts, and he's like telling himself to like, shut up, like, I just gotta do this. And you see him say like, all right, I still got 7 weeks, I can come up with this, which I thought was really interesting. And then at the end of the chapter, it was cool, but this is the point that got me like really kind of worried for the future of this manga, and that it cuts to 6 months ahead, where Aino is finally leaving her post as a Teppei's assistant, and she's starting her own series, Anima. And you know, they shake hands and they're like, yo, this is where the real rivalry begins. Let's do it. I just gotta beat you. Like, I'm not backing down. I'm gonna beat you. And you know, it's really cool. I thought so that she would leave Teppei eventually once she got her own series started. So that was very much expected. But the part that has me worried is that throughout the chapter we see Teppei struggling, like if he's going to come up with better story content. And then all of a sudden it jumps 6 months into the future, where Aino is leaving and the rivalry is about to begin. Now keep in mind, right before they made this time jump, Teppei said, like, I have 7 weeks before the deadline for the new chapter that I have to make. Like, I need to figure something out until then. And then they jump 6 months into the future, which is way past that initial 7 months, right? So that means by the time that they show at the end of the chapter, 6 months in the future, by that time, Teppei must have gotten something under control if the series is still running 6 months in the future, you know what I mean? And what has me worried, right, is normally I feel like Time Paradox Ghostwriter would spend chapters showing the process and his emotional state going through figuring out how he's going to make better story, you know what I mean? But all of a sudden it jumps 6 chapters into the 6 months into the future, rather, where presumably he already has that all figured out by now, and his rivalry with Aino is finally beginning. And I don't know, it just feels way too rushed, in my opinion. And it really, really has me worried that this series could get canceled around chapter 12, chapter 13. And I know there was a comment on one of my previous videos by a guy named Patrick. He was telling me about that the Japanese readers don't really like the message that Time Paradox Ghostwriter is sending due to the plagiarism, and there's been a lot of backlash. And I really, really just hope that that's not causing this series to end. But, you know, I'm worried that it is, because this pacing is just seemingly way too fast in my opinion. I'm like jumping 6 months ahead to when Aino is like, and the rivalry is beginning. Like, that just, it's screaming, it's danger signs for me. Because, all right, let's say it does end in chapter 12. So now, rivalry between Aino, maybe the next chapter will be establishing her new series. Maybe the next chapter will be like their all-out battle. And then maybe the next chapter after that will be like the conclusions and moving forward chapter, you know what I mean? And I don't want that to happen. I want this chapter to continue. Not this chapter, I want this series to continue. But like, I'm really getting warning signs that this chapter, oh my God, I keep saying chapter, that this series may be ending. And I really hope that that's not the case, because I'm just loving this series a lot. And I just don't want it to end. You know, I talked in my last video I made that I'm gonna be really, really upset if this series does end, and I'm stand by that. Like, this series is just so, so good in my opinion, and I just don't want it to see it go, because it is my favorite new series that has started in Jump lately. And I don't know. I think it's really something good, and I'm very, very scared for it, because what's been happening, the pacing, it's not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot. I don't want it to end by any means, but I have to point out these signs because I do see them. But as a chapter overall, you know, I really liked it. Teppei wasn't freaking out as much as I thought he was going to be. He was actually fairly calm and collected. You could see noticeably that he wasn't sleeping lately due to the bags under his eyes. So he's obviously been grinding nonstop. But yeah, I don't know. And it was nice to see some more banter between the assistants, which is always nice. But again, like, jumping 6 months into the future, Aino's relationships with the other assistants now is not really going to develop anymore. Aino's relationship being in the same building with Teppei is not really going to develop anymore. You know what I mean? Now that the rivalry is beginning, it won't really focus as much on Teppei's internal struggle, I presume. And I don't even know. I'm just, honestly guys, I'm feeling kind of defeated. That's why I'm not like, I'm not full of energy right now talking about this chapter, because I'm just so worried that it might end, and I hope it doesn't. And I guess we're really going to see in the next couple chapters the way the story unfolds and progresses, whether any news comes out from Shonen Jump, whether it's like, oh, it's its final chapter or whatever. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying it how it is. I think it's going to be ending soon. And not just because of what that one guy told me in my previous video, but just because of what I'm seeing and how the story is unfolding. So yeah, for everybody that has been loving this manga, just be prepared that it may end soon, unfortunately. I don't want it to. Like, I have to hammer this home. I do not want it to end. I've been loving it. I've been loving Teppei. I've been loving Aino. I've been loving White Knight. I've been loving everything about it, but I don't know. I'm seeing those danger signs. So yeah, but let's make the assumption that it's not ending. What do I think could happen? Like I said, it's kind of a bit the same. The rivalry with Aino unfolding. I want to see that happen. I'm sure in the next chapter, then, if it's not in danger of being canceled, then I'm sure we're going to see what Aino's series is all about. I think the next chapter will mostly be reaction to what Aino's new series is going to be, and perhaps talking about a little bit about how Teppei resolved his issues with the story creation of White Knight, and maybe just how White Knight is doing in general now that Teppei is taking charge and is at the helm of White Knight right now. So yeah, that's pretty much what I expect the next chapter to be. Yeah, I don't know. But again, I'm seeing warning signs. But beyond that, right? Talking a little bit more about the chapter, the art was just super good, as usual. And it was cool. It's always cool to see when they talk about White Knight and it shows like the art of White Knight. I always like seeing that, because it just shows it. It just helps us understand a little bit like what this series is all about and what the flavor is. And it kind of makes me want White Knight, you know? Why can't White Knight be a real series? But I don't know, that was just a nice little touch. And I really like seeing Teppei's character design. He actually looks kind of cool right now. He's looking like more and more like a badass, like a regular shonen protagonist, you know what I mean? And you can definitely see how he's evolving, and especially at the end, you see like his bandages all over his hands and arms and stuff. He's grinding. That man's grinding, as he should. But yeah, so wow, that's about all I have to talk about for this video. Sorry if I wasn't super energetic, but like I said, I'm just really worried about this future about the future of Time Paradox Ghostwriter, and I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to jinx it any more than I already have. But yeah, so let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. It was really good. But do you guys see those warning signs? Do you guys think that it could be canceled soon? I hope not, but like, what is your guys' opinion on that? I'm curious to see. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Drop a like and consider subscribing if you liked anything that you saw. And yeah, subscribe to stay up to date on my latest chapter reviews. I'll talk about if it gets canceled or not. I hope it doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know. If it does get canceled, then that means that the volumes would be Japanese only, right? So if one of you guys know like a website where I can buy Japanese manga that are like limited print, and this doesn't just involve Time Paradox Ghostwriter, this also involves other series that I like that may not have come to the US, or maybe got canceled too early so they're not going to come to the US. So yeah, I'd just like to find a website like that. So if any of you guys know anything like that, I'd like it if you guys could let me know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.